You are listening to Vaccine Voices, an educational series presented by the IPRO QIN-QIO.
Welcome to the second installment in our series on applying motivational interviewing, or MI, in long-term care settings. My name is Jeff Weatherholt, and I'm the host for this series. I am a motivational interviewing trainer and coach, and the principal at MI for Health. Motivational interviewing is an evidence-driven approach to support individuals in moving toward positive behavior changes. MI practitioners seek to identify and strengthen an individual's own reasons for change, their intrinsic motivation, while addressing the obstacles and challenges that make it hard for them to change. We hope this series will help you incorporate MI into your own practice. In this series, we're going to cover a range of cases that represent realistic depictions of different forms of vaccine resistance in long-term care settings. For each of these, the interviewer will be a director of nursing within a long-term care organization. The interviewees will be different each time and will reflect the diversity of backgrounds, roles, and perspectives that we encounter in long-term care settings. You can find more information on motivational interviewing and this series by clicking on the Wave button at qi.ipro.org or by visiting miforhealth.com. For today's case, we will be speaking with Janice, a resident in the adult long-term care facility where you work. Janice arrived at your facility 4 months ago and has refused to receive vaccinations for influenza and COVID-19 since then. Members of the staff who have spoken with her about vaccination have shared that Janice is tolerant of being asked to consider it, but disengages from attempts to pursue the conversation in any depth. One staff member has mentioned to you that pressure from Janice's family may be impacting her decision. You've decided to speak with Janice in her room. Working with family members and loved ones is a big part of long-term care, and Janice's case will provide us with a chance to practice managing family pressure on a resident's decisions. Subsequent interviews in this series will address speaking with family members directly. Let's get started.
Good morning, Janice. How are you doing today?
Well, good morning to you too. I'm doing all right, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking. I feel like it's been a while since I've been able to visit with you.
I was just trying to remember the last time you were here. I feel like I see you in the hall and that you're always in a rush to get somewhere or another.
I know, I often don't get to visit as much as I would like to, but I'm glad to be here.
Well, to what do I owe the pleasure today?
Well, I wanted to make some time to talk with you about some of the vaccinations that we encourage all our residents to receive.
Oh, yes, that.
Would it be okay if you and I spoke about vaccines today, or would another time be better for you?
No, now it's fine. I understand that we're going to have to talk about it sometime or another.
You're not eager to have this conversation.
Well, no. To be honest with you, I'm not eager for it.
I understand from the staff that you have some concerns and hesitations about receiving vaccines. Is that correct?
I do. I hear so many things about these vaccines. Everyone gets so worked up about them. I really don't know what to think.
There's a lot of information to sort through, and that's even harder when people have strong opinions.
Yes, I do not need to spend my time yelling at people and getting yelled at.
It's hard to be on the other end of a conversation with that level of emotion. You have heard things that really worry you.
All kinds of things. People getting sick, having heart trouble, health issues out of nowhere. I've heard of people dying after getting their vaccine, microchips and chemicals. Some of that sounds pretty far-fetched if you ask me. But given how sick people have gotten from COVID, some of it really sticks in my mind.
You were concerned by some of the health issues that you have seen other residents deal with.
Yes, it is scary when people get that sick. I have seen some friends here struggle with it this year. There's so much going around. It's one thing after another.
It really is. And that's one of the reasons we want to make sure to connect with everyone about vaccinations to keep us as healthy as we can be.
Well,
where do we go from here? We often think of resistance as someone actively disagreeing with us, but resistance comes in many forms. In this case, the interviewer has encountered a particularly polite form of resistance, disengagement. Janice pulls back from the conversation when she becomes uncomfortable. We discussed the important role that reflections play in MI during the first conversation in this series. Reflections help us learn more about the interviewee's attitudes toward change by using their own language. But what do we do when there's not much to reflect? It can be easy to shift back to questions in the absence of feedback. Questions can be helpful, but you should be cautious of overusing them in this situation. Questions can easily make an already reluctant interviewee withdraw even more. One of the first things to remember in these situations is to be comfortable with silence. Silence is not bad. People need time and space in conversations for many varied reasons. Allowing them space means allowing yourself to have some space as well. You can use this to consider how the conversation has gone so far and note the body language that the interviewee adopts when they disengage. What are they feeling that leads them to pull back? In this instance, the interviewer has approached the topic of vaccination twice and gotten very little engagement from Janice each time. They suspect that Janice is feeling pressured. Perhaps this is a moment to take a step back and try to alleviate that pressure.
I can see that this is a tough conversation for you. I really don't want to make you uncomfortable, Janice. If you have concerns, it's very important to me to address them as best that I can. But ultimately, this is your decision. I'm here to help you make the best decision for you.
Well, I do appreciate that. I do. I know you want to be a help.
The experiences that other residents have had with COVID are really weighing on your mind, and you aren't sure what to do about that.
It worries me to see people get so sick. I don't want to be that sick at my age.
I can understand how seeing your friends suffer can create uncertainty and worry.
But the things that people say.
Other residents have shared concerns with you.
No, some of them have concerns. There are some residents with strong opinions who like to talk about this all of the time, but they are not who I choose to spend my time with.
You are hearing things from others that are concerning to you.
Well, yes, my kids tell me things, but I don't know what to think.
You are very close with your daughters. They are here to see you often.
They are, and I love them very much, even when I don't see eye to eye with them. That's how it can be with kids, you know.
I certainly do. I'm a parent, too.
You raise them to be strong and be who they are. I'm proud of my daughters, even if I don't always agree with them.
Your relationships with your daughters are very important to you. You don't want disagreements to threaten those relationships.
Certainly not. Family is family. They know that too. But this topic really sets Tanya off. She feels so strongly about it. I don't want to argue with her. I don't want her to argue with her sisters either. I just don't want us to spend our time that way. Maybe she's right about some of it. It might not hurt to just wait and see.
MI helps us identify and work with ambivalence to change. In MI terminology, ambivalence is expressed in the forms of change talk and sustained talk. Change talk is any language in the direction of change that the interviewee expresses in their own words. Sustained talk is any language in the direction of resisting change and maintaining the current state that they share. Janice's last comment is a clear example of sustained talk. Hearing this can feel like watching the interviewee take a step backward. They have not, though. Their reasons to avoid change have been there all along. They've just found a way to give voice to them. A sincere expression of sustained talk is actually a big step forward from disengaging from the conversation. In a sense, sustained talk is a sign that the interviewee is building trust with you. Remember that ambivalence is not resolved in MI, but rather rebalanced. In the best case, we can amplify the reasons for change and dampen the reasons to maintain the status quo. This means encouraging change talk, of course. We'll discuss that further later in this interview. We do not want to ignore sustained talk entirely, though. If the interviewee does not feel heard, then they're not likely to engage deeply. They might even be expecting you to disregard their reasons for not changing. It's important to spend enough time with sustained talk to ensure that the interviewee feels heard and acknowledged. And to learn more about the obstacles to change, you will need to help them navigate before shifting the focus of the conversation to change talk. Ultimately, sustained talk has something to tell us about the context in which the interviewee is likely to consider change. In this case, Janice wants badly to avoid conflict with her daughters, Tanya in particular.
You have strong and positive relationships with your daughters. It is important to you to maintain those, and it is important to you to make the best decisions for your health. I'm here to help you balance those in the best way for you. Whatever you decide, I will support you.
Thank you.
You are worried about avoiding getting sick from COVID, and you are also worried about some of what you have heard from your family about the vaccine.
That's true. Like I said, it's tough to know what to believe.
It's common to have conflicting thoughts and feelings about vaccines. Are there questions that you have about them that I can address?
Well, have you seen people getting sicker from them?
No, I haven't. I am much more worried about the impact of COVID and the flu than I am about the side effects of vaccines. Those are generally mild, temporary, and easy to manage if they happen.
Well, that is good to know.
You talked about the experience of seeing other residents get sick. Have you seen other residents experience side effects from their vaccines that concern you?
No, I guess that doesn't really come up so much. I know Jennifer couldn't have lunch with me the other day after she got hers, but she was fine after that.
That can happen. Some people do experience mild and temporary effects from the vaccines. It's normal to question the information you receive, especially when it conflicts with your daughter's beliefs. Would it be helpful for you if I share some sources of information that I trust about vaccines?
Sure, you can share those. I trust you. I suppose that I don't think you would be giving these vaccines to all of us if you thought something bad was going to happen.
I really appreciate you saying that. Like I said, I am here to help you make the best decision for you.
To be honest with you, I probably would have gotten it already if it weren't for what I hear from her.
An important part of motivational interviewing is learning to listen for change talk, or language that the interviewee uses to make the case for change. Change talk is the raw material that an individual provides us to help them move toward change. When we encounter it, it is critical to notice it and respond. In MI, we use the acronym DARN CAT to help us remember the most common forms that change talk can take. D for desire. I want to change. A for ability. I can change. R for reason. This makes me want to change. N for need. I really need to change. C for commitment. I'm going to change. A for activation. I'm willing to change. And T for taking steps. I would make this step toward change. Janice has expressed concerns about the side effects of vaccination, but she hasn't been specific. She didn't seem very interested in the information that was offered. Remember that our goal is not to eliminate ambivalence, but to rebalance it. Plenty of people who have chosen to be vaccinated are similarly ambivalent. Perhaps the opportunity to talk through everything she has heard in a non-judgmental environment was enough. Janice's last comment communicates a lot. I would probably have just gotten it already if it weren't for what I hear from her. This is change talk. Can we help Janice find a path forward where she can be vaccinated and not disrupt her family relationships?
What you have heard from your family bothers you, but what is really making this hard for you is the potential for conflict. You don't want that.
That's right. I don't want that.
You would consider vaccination if you could find a way to do that that isn't upsetting to your family.
I mean, I suppose so. You all have been good to me. And I trust you when you say that this hasn't hurt other people here. I haven't seen any of these crazy things happen with others here. And I have to think that I would have if they were so common. I just don't want to start anything.
You don't want a conflict, and you want to know that you have done everything you can to keep from getting sick.
Yes, I don't want to be sick. Who does? I mean, even if I got sick, I would feel better if I knew that I had done everything that I could to prevent it.
It's important to find a balance between maintaining family relationships and making decisions that align with what you want for your own health and well-being.
Right. That shouldn't be so hard, should it?
Many people struggle with managing differences of opinion in their families, and it's important to find ways to talk through them. We're going to make it as easy as we can. I should note that, legally, you are able to make your own decisions about your health. Our team does not have to include your daughters in conversations about those decisions, including whatever you decide regarding vaccinations.
I don't want to hide things from my daughters.
I understand completely.
I just don't need to make a big point out of it. But I don't want to hide things. I'm an honest person.
Honesty is important in your relationships. You want to model that for your daughters.
Yes.
Okay. It is important for you to be straightforward with your daughters about this decision. How would you feel about creating a plan together for how to approach this conversation?
That could be helpful. I want to be able to express my thoughts without causing an argument.
Wonderful. One approach could be to emphasize your love and respect for your daughter's perspective, while also sharing your own concerns and reasons for considering vaccination. By emphasizing that your decision is personal and not a judgment on her beliefs, you may be able to find common ground. How does that sound to you?
That sounds reasonable if it works.
A member of our team can be part of that conversation if it would be helpful to you.
I don't know. I would like to have you there, but I don't know how that would be. Can I think about that?
Absolutely. I believe that you can navigate this conversation with compassion and respect for your daughter's feelings. If we can help you with that, we are happy to do it.
Thank you.
I don't want to lose sight of your health in this. How are you feeling about vaccines for this year after our conversation?
I feel better. I just don't want to get sick. If you all can help me talk with Tanya and my daughters, then I suppose I feel better about it.
I'm glad to hear that. Do you want more time to think this over, or would you like to set up a time to receive vaccines?
I should do it. We can schedule it.
Okay, let's find a time that works best for you. Remember, if you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm here to support you.
Thank you.
I know that wasn't an easy decision or an easy conversation, and I'm glad we had it. It is so clear to me how much you care about your daughters, even if you don't always agree with them. We can check in again on how you want to approach that conversation and make sure that we are part of it if that's what you want. Have a wonderful day, Janice.
You too. Thank you.
We all know how divisive conversations about vaccines can be. Helping others manage these conversations can be a big part of helping them feel better about vaccination. In Janice's case, she had some concerns about vaccines and their side effects, but these were not what kept her from accepting vaccination. She wanted to avoid conflict with her daughter. She wanted to know that this was a reasonable expectation and that there was support available to her. MI helped to create enough space in this conversation for us to learn this, and perhaps for Janice to recognize it as well. It wasn't always easy to get there. Janice disengaged from the conversation at multiple points. This is often a signal for us to take a step back as interviewers and consider how the interviewee's feelings have changed. If Janice would have continued to feel pressured, then we would likely not have had a successful conversation. This conversation also gave us a chance to discuss the core components of ambivalence in the interviewee's language: change talk and sustain talk. Ambivalence is something to work with, not against. We are all ambivalent about changes in our lives. Learning to actively listen for change and sustain talk can help us to be more intentional in managing ambivalence. The next conversation in this series will be a more challenging one. It will be with a staff member who has stronger concerns about the side effects of vaccination and who is managing circumstances in their life that make it much harder to work through these concerns. We will use this conversation to focus on additional motivational interviewing skills, how to affirm and support an interviewee's autonomy in a challenging conversation, and how to manage it when an interviewee disagrees with what you have shared in a reflection. Remember that there is a risk inherent in any complex reflection that you may be wrong about what the interviewee has communicated. Perhaps you heard it differently than they intended, or you read into a comment in a way that does not align with their self-conception. It can be uncomfortable to be wrong. It can also be a valuable learning opportunity and a way to move the conversation forward. Thank you for joining us for this episode. You can find more information on motivational interviewing and this series by clicking on the Wave button at qi.ipro.org or by visiting miforhealth.com.